Have you ever stood at the edge of your own strength, where the weight of your failures threatens to crush the very spark that drives you? Can you feel the tremor of a heart that longs to prove itself, yet falters under the shadow of its own monstrous truth? In the Next Generation's Trial, Episode 2 of Kaiju No. 8 Season 2, released on July 26, 2025, the air crackles with the acrid scent of scorched earth and the distant roar of a city under siege. Picture a battlefield where the ground pulses with menace, where every step is a gamble against oblivion, and the silence between clashes is heavier than the steel of a blade. This isn't just a story, it's a crucible, a searing call to the moments you've fought to define yourself. Do you recall the raw defiance of attack on Titan's Eren, the relentless drive of Hunter x Hunter's Gone? Those echoes of courage and struggle resound here, not as mere memories but as a living, breathing storm, demanding you stand in its in a world where monsters claw at the seams of humanity, where every battle is a mirror to the soul's deepest fears. Kaiju No. 8 Season 2 weaves a tapestry of grit and grace. Kafka Hibino, the 32-year-old dreamer turned kaiju, stands at the heart of this episode, his weathered face etched with the scars of a life that refused to let him soar. Voiced by Masaya Fukunashi, whose raw, trembling cadence carries the weight of a man caught between hero and beast, Kafka is a soul wrestling with his own monstrous power, his heart pounding with the need to belong. Have you ever felt the ache of being both savior and outcast? Kakoru Shinomiya, the prodigy with a giant axe and a gaze like shattered glass, moves with a ferocity born of loss, her voice by Fairu's AI sharp yet quivering with unspoken grief. Gen Narumi, the First Division's chaotic captain, is a paradox of childish whims and lethal precision, his voice by Kengo Kawanishi a blend of swagger and sorrow. Can you taste the dust of their world, the metallic tang of blood and steel? These characters are not mere warriors, they're fragments of your own fight, urging you to join their battle. What does it mean to wield power you cannot control, to fight for a place in a world that fears you? Episode 2 plunges into Kafka's fractured soul, where every failed transformation is a scream against his own inadequacy, a battle to prove he's more than the monster within. His struggle is a universal cry, to be seen when your truth is a threat. Have you ever fought to be more than your failures? Kakoru's relentless drive, forged in the ashes of her mother's sacrifice, clashes with Narumi's carefree bravado, each a mirror to Kafka's own quest for worth. The episode dares to ask, can you rise when your strength betrays you, or do you crumble under its weight? I find myself haunted by Kafka's quiet desperation, a reflection of every time you've clawed for redemption despite the odds. The looming threat of Kaiju No. 9, a shadow that splits the world in two, raises chilling questions about the cost of power. Like the soul-shattering stakes of Neon Genesis Evangelion, this episode forces you to confront the fragility of identity, leaving you aching to know if Kafka's heart will hold. The animation, a searing weave by Production I.G, is a tapestry of chaos and clarity. The cityscape pulses with muted watercolors, its diorama-like ruins glowing under a sky bruised with twilight, while the kaiju ants swarm like a nightmare given form. Have you ever seen a world that felt like a wound, its scars alive with menace? Low-angle shots of Narumi's strikes convey a godlike power, while Dutch tilts during Kafka's failed transformations mirror his spiraling dread. The interplay of light, searchlights cutting through dust-choked air, casts the trio as both hunters and prey, each frame a pulse of their desperate fight. I think the sequence of Kakoru's axe cleaving through kaiju, its arc a blaze of crimson against the gray rubble, is a visual symphony, though I didn't like the occasional overuse of static crowd shots, which linger like a held breath. The animation's texture, gritty yet fluid, feels like scraping your fingers across shattered stone, a tactile echo of Kafka's struggle. Some whisper that the episode's pacing is a slow burn, a deliberate crawl through the chaos of battle. Yet, this measured rhythm is no flaw, it's a masterstroke, letting the weight of Kafka's failure settle like ash in your throat, each moment a testament to his unspoken resolve. Others might claim the focus on side characters dulls the protagonist's shine. Yet, this shift is a revolution, weaving Kakoru and Narumi into a tapestry of strength that elevates Kafka's own fight, proving that heroism is a shared flame. The spark of battle never fades. It burns brighter in the face of doubt, proving icons like Kafka are eternal. Can you resist a story that turns failure into a battlefield, where every struggle is a rebellion? Yuta Bando's soundtrack is a living pulse, its driving percussion and soaring strings a heartbeat of defiance that wraps around Kafka's struggle like a storm. The OST's tense motif during the kaiju ant swarm feels like a cry of survival, while Narumi's battle theme hums with reckless bravado. Have you ever heard a melody that felt like your own buried fight? The sound effects, the crunch of collapsing buildings, the guttural roar of Kaiju No. 9, are so vivid you can taste the dust in the air. I really appreciate appreciate the silence during Kafka's failed transformation, a vacuum that amplifies his raw panic, pulling you into his heart. Yet, I think the OST's reliance on familiar action motifs risks fading into earlier episodes, a faint echo in an otherwise electrifying score. There's a moment when the battlefield stills, when a hero's trembling fists meet a monster's gaze, and a truth ignites that could either forge or shatter. It's not just a confrontation but a collision of fates, where Kafka's struggle faces a force that threatens to unravel all he's fought for. Picture the air thick with the stench of ozone and fear, the ground trembling as if the earth itself mourns. This moment, bathed in the flicker of searchlights and shadow, redefines Kafka's path, leaving a question hanging like a fading roar. What does it mean to fight when your power betrays you? The tension is a live wire, crackling with the promise of transformation, urging you to witness the fallout. Can you feel the weight of a power that falters, the ache of a fight that could save or doom? Kaiju No. 8 Season 2. Episode 2 is not a story to be watched. It's a storm to be felt, a symphony of grit and grace that weaves your own struggles into its roaring heart. Will you stand with Kafka, where every failure is a defiance of fate, every battle a cry against the dark? This episode demands your heart, your courage to face the mirror of your own strength. Are you ready to step into the rubble, to witness the next generation's trial, and uncover the truths it holds, truths that might just redefine the hero in your soul? Click watch now, and let Kafka's fight become your own. Have you ever felt the crushing weight of duty, where every step forward binds you tighter to a cause that might break you? Can you taste the bitter tang of sacrifice, the kind that lingers like ash on your tongue, demanding you give all you are for something greater? In the Chains of Duty, Episode 3 of Kaiju No. 8 Season 2, released on August 2, 2025, the air hums with the grinding roar of collapsing steel and the faint, desperate pulse of human defiance. Picture a shattered cityscape, its jagged skyline trembling under a blood-red dusk, where every shadow hides a choice that could save or doom. This isn't just a story, it's a crucible, a searing summons to the moments you've carried burdens too heavy to bear. Do you recall the unyielding resolve of Gurren Lagann Simon, the anguished duty of Fullmetal Alchemist's Mustang? Those tales of sacrifice reborn thunder here, not as echoes but as a living, raging fire, demanding you step into its blaze in a world where kaiju tear at the roots of existence, where duty is a chain forged in blood and steel. Kaiju No. 8 Season 2 weaves a tapestry of sacrifice and struggle. Kafka Hibino, the reluctant hero with a monster's heart, stands at the core of this episode, his weathered hands trembling under the weight of a purpose he never chose. Voiced by Masaya Fukunishi, whose voice cracks with the strain of a man torn between duty and dread, Kafka is a soul tethered to a cause that threatens to consume him. Have you ever carried a burden that felt like it might crush you? Kikoru Shinomiya, the prodigy with a blade sharper than her grief, fights with a ferocity that masks her fear of failing those she loves. Her voice by Fairu's AI, a piercing cry laced with vulnerability. Mina Ashiro, the stoic captain of the 3rd Division, bears the weight of leadership like a crown of thorns. Her voice by Asami Sito steady, yet heavy with unspoken loss. Can you smell the acrid smoke of their world, the metallic sting of blood-soaked earth? These characters are not mere fighters. They're mirrors of your own sacrifices, urging you to stand in their shadow. What does it mean to bear a duty that demands your soul, to fight for others when your own heart is breaking? Episode 3 dives into Kafka's tormented core, where every monstrous transformation is a chain binding him to a cause he fears he cannot fulfill. His struggle is a universal cry, to endure when duty suffocates hope. Have you ever pressed forward, knowing the cost might be everything? Kikoru's relentless pursuit of perfection, forged in the fires of her mother's sacrifice, clashes with Mina's quiet resolve, each a reflection of Kafka's own battle against the chains of obligation. The episode dares to ask, can duty forge a hero, or does it only break them? I find myself haunted by Kafka's anguished determination, a reflection of every time you've carried a burden for others despite your own pain. The ever-present shadow of Kaiju No. 9, a force that twists duty into despair, raises chilling questions about the price of loyalty. Like the heart-wrenching sacrifices of Berserk's guts, this episode forces you to confront the cost of duty, leaving you aching to know if Kafka's chains will hold or snap. The animation, a visceral weave by Production I.G, is a tapestry of ruin and resilience. The city lies in tatters, its broken spires glowing under a sky bleeding crimson, while kaiju swarm like nightmares clawing at reality. Have you ever seen a world that felt like a wound, its scars pulsing with defiance? Close-ups of Kafka's eyes, wide with dread yet burning with resolve, capture a soul on the brink, while low-angle shots of Mina's commands convey her unyielding authority. The interplay of light, torches flickering against shattered concrete, concrete, casts the trio as both saviors and prisoners, each frame a pulse of their desperate stand. I think the sequence of Kikoru's blade slicing through Kaiju, its arc a blaze of silver against the red dusk, is a visual dirge, though I didn't like the occasional overuse of motion blur, which clouds the chaos like a fevered dream. The animation's texture, gritty yet hauntingly fluid, feels like running your fingers over jagged rubble, a tactile echo of Kafka's burdened heart. Some whisper that the episode's focus on duty's weight slows the series' frenetic pulse, a deliberate pause amid the chaos. Yet, this measured cadence is no flaw, it's a masterstroke, letting the gravity of sacrifice settle like dust in your lungs, each moment a testament to Kafka's unspoken resolve. Others might claim the emphasis on Mina's leadership overshadows Kafka's struggle. Yet, this shift is a revolution, weaving her stoic strength into a tapestry that elevates Kafka's own fight, proving that duty is a shared chain. The fire of heroism never dims. It burns brighter in the face of sacrifice, proving icons like Kafka are eternal. Can you resist a story that turns duty into a battlefield, where every choice is a rebellion? Yuta Bandoa's soundtrack is a living pulse, its heavy percussion and mournful strings a heartbeat of obligation that wraps around Kafka's struggle like a storm. The OST's somber motif during the quiet moments feels like a lament for lost dreams, while Kikoru's battle theme roars with desperate fury. Have you ever heard a melody that felt like your own buried burdens? The sound effects, the crunch of collapsing structures, the guttural bellow of Kaiju, are so vivid you can taste the ash in the air. I really appreciate the silence during Kafka's moment of doubt, a vacuum that amplifies his raw anguish, pulling you into his soul. Yet, I think the OST's reliance on familiar action motifs risks blending into earlier episodes, a faint echo in an otherwise gripping score. There's a moment when the world holds its breath, when a hero's trembling resolve meets the weight of a monstrous truth, and a revelation ignites that could either bind or break. It's not just a turning point but a collision of destinies, where Kafka's duty faces a force that threatens to shatter all he's fought to protect. Picture the air thick with the stench of smoke and despair, the ground quaking as if the heavens themselves weep. This moment, bathed in the flicker of dying torches and shadow, redefines Kafka's path, leaving a question hanging like a fading ember. What does it mean to carry a duty that could destroy you? The tension is a live wire, crackling with the promise of sacrifice, urging you to witness the fallout. Can you feel the weight of a duty that binds, the ache of a sacrifice that could save or doom? Kaiju No. 8 Season 2, Episode 3 is not a story to be watched. It's a storm to be felt, a symphony of grit and grief that weaves your own burdens into its roaring heart. Will you stand with Kafka, where every choice is a defiance of fate, every battle a cry against the chains? This episode demands your heart, your courage to face the mirror of your own sacrifices. Are you ready to step into the ashes, to witness the chains of duty, and uncover the truths it holds, truths that might just redefine the hero in your soul? Click watch now, and let Kafka's chains become your own.